brand new, and then we'll take it higher.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McKeag. I'm live on location at Silver Creek Golf Course, Sault Ste. Marie, and we're outdoor on the patio here at Silver Creek Golf Course, where we're mostly going to be when we're here throughout the summer. Is the goal is to be on the patio or in the event area, weather permitting, obviously. When it's raining, unfortunately, we'd be indoors. And, when we came here, a little bit of overcast. We were afraid of rain, but as soon as we stepped in the doors of Silver Creek, it's like the radio gods have come amongst us and said, you know what, we're going to give these guys some sunlight. So it is now sunny, and we are sitting on the patio here at Silver Creek. And we're here at Silver Creek for their wing night. Silver Creek has a delicious wing nights deals that you can come on down to enjoy on Thursdays. Make sure you come down to enjoy those wings. And let me tell you, Justin and I are certainly enjoying those wings. And tonight, it's going to be myself and Justin Heichel, as Brad Cochimilio has been pulled to go do some live on location work with SooToday.com, where he is working, and it's with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds signing a new coach today that we're going to get to in just a few moments. For tonight here, we're just going to get through the usual introduction portion. We're going to talk a little bit of the NHL tonight. We're going to talk the OHL, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. We have a special guest coming on the show who's not a stranger to the show here on the Game Sports Show. Craig Hartsburg will be coming on and joining us on location here at Silver Creek Golf Course, so we're going to have him on. And we're also going to touch on a little bit of baseball news and hopefully get to some golf news as well. As I said, we're here live on location at Silver Creek Golf Course. This is the second show that we are doing here on location at Silver Creek. We here for the Game Sports Show are going to be here for the entirety of the summer until the end of August, as these are going to be considered special editions of the Game Sports Show, as Silver Creek Golf Course has been added to the family and the addresses of the Game Sports Show. As you know, we do have many addresses that we have already stapled ourselves with, but we're proud to bring in as many sponsors and many different locations, get in touch with our listeners and broadcast ourselves throughout the entirety of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario and Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Continuing the introduction portion here, the list of sponsors on the Game Sports Show. Obviously, Silver Creek Golf Course. We have Boston Pizza, which is a home to the Game Sports Show on Thursdays or Sundays. Sports Center Bar and Grill, which is a home to the Game Sports Show Wednesdays, and that's every Wednesday from September until May, then every second Wednesday from June until August, and then the Wicked Sister in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which is the home to the Game Sports Show on Mondays. Pingator Cleaners over in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan as well, and Eagle 95.1 over in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which spearheads the Monday edition of the Game Sports Show USA. List of additional sponsors over in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario: Discover the Canvas, Northern Critters in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, The Salon, North Shore Sports and Auto, The Superior Pro Shop, Northern Signs, and KBX Hockey as well. And let me tell you, with Northern Signs saying just a few seconds ago there, our merchandise for $25, you can purchase a shirt of the Game Sports Show, and 100% of proceeds go towards charities, Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister of Sault Ste. Marie. And as saw today on my Instagram page and on Facebook, you'll be able to see that I was able to drop off the checks that we were able to raise from the first batch that were given to Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister. Make sure you check out that Instagram, give it a look, ski at the shirt, as I am obviously wearing the shirt in the picture, and you can certainly purchase the shirt by going to our website at www.thegamesportshow.com. Go to the merchandise section, and you can just follow the directions on how to get a shirt. You email us, let us know the amount of shirts you need and the sizes of the shirts, and if you live within Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, we can deliver them to you free of charge. If you live outside the area, unfortunately, shipping charges will apply. For payments, you can do cash upon delivery or e-transfer as well. The most common one that's being used is the e-transfer, as everyone feels that is the best to secure their shirt when the batches are given. We had our second batch get given to us, and we are almost sold out of them already. You want to make sure to get on board to get in on the next batch. We do have shirts made very frequently and very often. If you need something immediately, you can just reach out to myself or anyone here on the Game Sports Show, and we can make those accommodations for you to ensure that you get the product of the Game Sports Show. On the website, you can just look at previous episodes as well of the Wicked Sister, Sports Center, Boston Pizza, and even Silver Creek as well, and just lists of shows, and make sure you follow up to date with us, and obviously link us to the Podbean page, the GameSportsShow.podbean.com. Again, that is the GameSportsShow.podbean.com. Simply just hit follow, type in your email. You don't get any junk mail, nothing annoying happens. You just simply get a notification when a show of the Game Sports Show gets uploaded, and you are able to listen and keep up to date. Now, everyone always comments here, and I'm going to bring my good friend here and someone who's been alongside me with the Game Sports Show for the entirety, basically, since it's been started 4 years ago, Justin Heichel. In just a few seconds here, I was going to give a special shout-out first to our board operator tonight, whom is Producer Ghost. It is not Scott Nason, as Scott Nason has taken the day off, as it is his birthday today. Scott Nason's birthday today, so special shout out to my good friend, work colleague, host of the Game Sports Show, friend, all the fun stuff, Scott Nason. We are going to be enjoying his birthday across the river tonight, so if you see us out in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan here on this Thursday, July the 12th, make sure you just come on and say hi and say happy birthday to Scott, as Scott is truly the heartbeat of the show. And if you all remember, he is the individual whom started the show just under 4 years ago now, what was called Coffee with the Coach. And then when yours truly came on with his loud attitude and a little bit of his ego, I ended up telling Scotty we should change the name and change the whole format, and he actually did it. I was surprised that he did it, but he was open to the idea of expanding the show, and as soon as we expanded almost 4 years ago, popularity of the show has increased tremendously, and we have to say thank you to you, the listeners, for making us a part of your day when we are uploaded on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and or Sundays. Now, Justin, before I get into kind of the agenda of tonight's show and just the agenda of the Game Sports Show all around, because our usual introduction portion takes about the 6 to 10 minute mark, getting through all the sponsors, a little bit of news and all that fun stuff, just to make sure the listeners are to follow along clearly, as I'm sure it's almost as clear as mud to them when they hear me talk about all the kind of different schedule changes. But it's a good thing because of all the shows that we do and the popularity and demand, which is very great to see. But my friend Justin, how you doing, sir? Enjoying this weather outside, eh?
Oh, it's a beautiful day down here at the course. I mean, we're out here on the patio, enjoying the sun, just taking it all in, recording the show out here with this beautiful backdrop. It's a nice change of pace down here, that's for sure.
It's different. This is actually our first show that we've recorded on a patio. We had plans to record in the Boston Pizza patio, but due to some work and getting there later at night, we haven't been able to do so. And we tried, some outdoor broadcasting. So we hope the clarity on the microphone on the other end for you, the listeners, is clear. We have to try this. This is part of the Silver Creek agreement that we have here. Is that when we have guests on the show, we plan to have those guests on the patio or in the event area. We have our own blocked off area over there, where we're going to have guests come on live on location. Those are local figures and national figures. Just a quick little recap of the agenda of the Game Sports Show. Again, it's every Monday, Wicked Sister. Every second Wednesday, currently at Sports Center until September, which goes back to every Wednesday. And now, to clear this up, as people can see, we're at Silver Creek on a Thursday. Everyone's like, wow, this is when they're at Boston Pizza. Like I said on last week's edition of Silver Creek and on Boston Pizza, to make sure you tune in to the Monday and Wednesday show, if the Wednesday show is on that week, obviously, and make sure you follow up to date with our social media for the Game Sports Show to ensure that you come to the right location when we are here. For the month of July, we're going to be bouncing around between Thursdays and Sundays between Boston Pizza and Silver Creek. This week, we're at Silver Creek, obviously, with Sunday being at Boston Pizza, and we'll be at Boston Pizza at 9:30 on Sunday. Now, next week, we are going to be at the Wicked Sister, obviously, Monday. We do not have a show at the Sports Center on Wednesday. We'll be at Boston Pizza next Thursday, and we'll be at Silver Creek next upcoming Sunday, where we plan to have guests on location as well to do a quick 9 holes with yours truly, and also to come and enjoy this nice patio here at Silver Creek Golf Course as well, to also be interviewed on the show. And we also are hoping to have a special guest on the Boston Pizza Show as well next week. So again, that's Thursday, Boston Pizza next week, Silver Creek Sunday. This week obviously is Silver Creek today, with Boston Pizza being on Sunday. Now, with tonight's agenda of the show, we're gonna, like I said, with Craig Hartsburg coming on, we're going to dive into the Sault Ste. Marie grounds in just a few seconds here. But before I do that, stating some stuff with the agenda of the shows, is which I want to get to, between Boston Pizza and Silver Creek. Both shows are going to follow the same talk agenda, which is hockey, both locally and professionally, baseball locally and professionally. But the thing that's been added and has been taken from the Wednesday show is golf will be discussed. And the golf will only be discussed when we're live on location at Silver Creek Golf Course, which most of your golf knowledge is going to come from the one and only Jamie Henderson, and also some of his staff, and even yours truly, looking into some of the major golf associations with all the tournaments going on. Make sure I keep track on that. So all you golf listeners, don't worry, we will have some golf as well, and we hope to start that and launch that next week, as we hope to have Hendo on next week's edition to discuss some events that are happening at Silver Creek and also that are happening in the world of golf. So Justin, without further ado, before we jump into the show and talk about the hiring of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds' new coach and some hockey news, I said I would have an icebreaker question. People are asking, well, you have a lot of things on your show. You have the trivia question. You have all these different agendas. You have these sponsors. You're doing a lot of things. You have the multiple choice segment. And that's funny because the multiple choice segment we're going to keep at the Boston Pizza edition. The trivia question is going to be here at Silver Creek Golf Course. And the trivia question, yes, guess what? We will have one today, and it will be stated sometime in this show. I'm going to give you a spoiler. It's not in part 2. It's either in this part or in part 3 of the show. I think people are going to guess which part it's going to be in. As I do the layout of the show on social media, so hopefully if you know how to read, you'll see where I have it labeled on there. So, just without further ado, the icebreaker question I kind of want to ask you today, because I'm just going to throw listeners off by saying that. Your preference, Scotch or whiskey?
I mean, that's a tricky one. But based on overall, like, continued consumption and lifetime, I guess I would take whiskey. Scotch has been more of an acquired taste, whereas whiskey was the staple of my college blackouts. So I'm gonna say whiskey right now.
Tell the listeners where you went to school.
Whiskey.
Where'd you go?
I mean, we could start with Confederation College in Thunder Bay,
Yeah.
or Lake State in Sioux, Michigan,
Yeah.
or finishing it off at Sioux College.
Oh, look, some background news on Justin Heichel. I said I'd throw him off with the question. I don't know if that did throw him off. To answer that question, I am both. I'll mix both if I could, but no, just jokes. If I had to answer, it would be whiskey as well. I wouldn't mind pouring nice Scotch though on the rocks with a nice cigar, a nice sunny day on my parents' deck.
See, like, it's an acquired
It is
thing.
certainly an acquired thing. It's also an expensive habit as well. Very expensive, especially if you go to the LCBO. Little plug for LCBO. Your Scotch is very pricey, but it's very good. Very good. But Justin, we're going to jump in right now to the show and get into the meat and potatoes of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Jump into that right away. I was going to wait to do that till the third part, but you know what? It kind of makes sense with Hartsburg coming by to discuss it. It makes us just perfect to just go right into it after our break with him and then have it beforehand here. The Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, get into that, have signed coach John Dean. He's been named the 20th coach for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. As per the Sioux Today article, which is by Sioux Today staff and the Game Sports Show's own Brad Cochimilio, whom is a part of Sioux Today, as everybody knows as well. We had some comments we are very confident that John is the right fit for the program at this time. John understands today's athletes and has proven track record of success. He is an effective communicator, teacher, and committed to pushing this franchise to the next level. The 37-year-old Dean joins the Greyhounds after spending last season, the 2017-2018 season, as the head coach and assistant GM of the Toronto Patriots in the OJHL. Now, people are wondering what the OJHL is. It is the same, if not equivalent, league to the Sault Ste. Marie Thunderbirds, the same kind of tier as that. John led the team to a league best 40 wins, 8 losses, 3 ties, and 3 overtime losses. So 48, 3, and 3, and he was named Coach of the Year. He was also head coach of Team East, the CJHL prospect game. Prior to his time in Toronto, Dean was an associate coach with the North Bay Battalion for 3 years from 2014 to 2016-2017, and preceded by 6 seasons as head coach of the OJHL's North York Rangers 2009 to 2014. John continued saying, "I'm honored and excited to be named head coach of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and look forward to carrying the club's tradition of excellence. I would like to thank Tim, Kyle, and the entire board for giving me this amazing opportunity," stated Dean. Now, if you read the article, you can listen. There's a lot of articles on social media, but you can log in to see on Sioux Today the rest of that article. It goes on to show how true a professional he is, being thankful for his days of playing and thankful to his coaching time with Toronto Patriots. Some of the accolades and accomplishments, as I pretty much said at the top: OJHL Coach of the Year 2017-2018, head coach of the Team East Top Prospects in 2018, ranked first in power play percentage of the OJHL for 2017-2018, so it really shows his special team abilities, and he's an OHL alumni of the North Bay Centennials and Mississauga Ice Dogs from 97 until 2001, so he has that playing experience as well. So, Hike, just to get your reaction, I know there's been a lot of less skeptical comments or skepticism, I guess would be the right word to use in this, between hiring him over some of the people that they were considering. I'm definitely going to bring this up to Hartsburg when we have him on, as a lot of people were picking Jones as being a guy to go. Smith had people picked out at him as well. And we also know, and I'm going to mention this to Craig when he's on the show, is his son. There's Chris, who had a lot of attention as well, being brought on board. Even Teddy Nolan. Every time there's an open coach, as Brad said before when I saw him earlier today as we were dropping off the checks to charities, that every time there's an open coach job in the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, Ted Nolan always gets brought up in it. Or even Craig Hartsburg got it brought up in some rumors that I heard. And I know he, when I was talking to him earlier today about playing the show, about coming, he was laughing when he said he heard his interview, and I think his days of coaching are done. But so that shows how the Sioux is. But is it now with Dean, is it a signing that they really did their homework? Is that what it seems, and they went with this? Or did they go with somebody who doesn't have that experience, can gain this experience, this team, and grow with a bunch of the young guys coming up? I trust with Raph this is done, because everyone doubted Kyle Dubas when he came here. And now look at Dubas, the guy. He's the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs, one of the youngest GMs in hockey and one of the brightest minds in the world of hockey. And he just knocked it out of the park with a John Tavares signing. So, it's not. I don't think age is as big as an effect as it was before. But obviously, bringing in Dean was something of sorts of surprise. You heard we heard in the media outlets about him applying. Maybe the public didn't hear all that. Us in the media get to hear that kind of noise and that kind of rumors that go along. So with Dean being hired, are those comments correct about bringing in someone inexperienced, or are the Greyhounds taking a good risk here, or should I even say risk?
I don't really think it's a matter of taking someone who's inexperienced. I mean, the guy's was in the OHL 20 years ago, so he's obviously, hockey's been a part of his life for, he's 37, let's realistically say over 30 years. So you can't discount just because he's younger, and goes to the Kyle Dubas thing too. You can't discount him just because he's younger, and say that, naysay the experience. There's probably going to be a lot of, like you said, skepticism about.
So I did use the right word.
Just this hire based on there not being a huge professional resume there. Like most people in armchair quarterbacks and general managers like to look at NHL experience or OHL experience, or just the what have you done for me lately.
Yep.
So the average fan who's just going to look at the coaching accolades we looked at, saw was it the CJHL? That's where he is, the Toronto Junior
OJ.
So coach of the year, coaching what do I think was their all-star team?
Yep, the top prospects.
So special team specialist. I think what they've done here with this hire is hired someone who can grow with the players. Because I really do think you're going to see some of these guys who've been drafted this year, they're going to come back, they're going to need to develop. And you're going to have a coach that has to learn how to now develop players to make the next step, whether that next step be NHL or AHL. I think he's done a very good job where he was this season, developing those players and getting them ready for the next level. I mean, if you look at the team's record, he coached the All-Star team. I believe some of his previous experience he had was at a hockey camp or hockey training, which was basically a broad spectrum training program where you could be anyone just putting on skates to an NHL player, and he had a way to make you better.
Yep.
So you have to look at different things and look at where the modern athlete's going too. You can't just look back in time and say, well, this coach would be great for us because.
Yep.
I think it's a good forward-thinking move for the Hounds, and maybe it's a low-risk, high potential for reward kind of move. I like it. I mean, I don't have an issue with it, and I'm looking forward to talking to the new coach and see what he wants to bring to the team.
Brad was obviously at the press release today there on behalf of Sioux Today, and then there was obviously Sioux Star being involved there and some of the media. And people are asking how come we didn't go on location. Unfortunately, it was last minute news for us, and we were available to break the news, but we were able to send Brad on our behalf to be able to break some news to us and give us some news, as Justin and I were unable to get to that press conference. And we were hoping to get you some sound bits, and we're going to hope to get Coach John Dean on the show this summer, get some reaction from him. I know we're probably going to be leaning more on the Brad Cochemilio end with that in terms of that reachable kind of contact with him already being in touch with him. But we plan to have John on the show this summer, hopefully live on location from Silver Creek Golf Course or another location here on the Game Sports Show. We definitely look forward to having him on the show as the hockey season kicks underway in September. But with Coach John Deed, I know Hartsburg and I discussed it a bit before we were talking about this coming on the show today, and I don't want to take all of his thunder before he comes on because he has a lot of points I know he wants to bring to the table, as we hope to have Hartsy on a lot throughout the year and be actually a part of the show in a more effective coach's standpoint, whom has a lot of experience. And when he told me, one thing he said that I could say for him before, so it's not stealing his thunder, is that with Dean, it's a lot of individuals that people are going to say that the Hounds are not going to be as good this year, which may be true, but they're still going to be a very good hockey team. Look at the team, look at them on paper. Now, I'm not going to continue on with what Craig said. I'm going to take my own words here now and say that, look at Barrett Hayton, got drafted 5th overall. The LA guy who went 21st, I know producer Ghost and give me his
you'd have to think that the Kings are going to make a push for him to play in North America.
Yeah, we're definitely going to make a push for him to play. Producer Ghost said I know producer Ghost is just, he's in the background there. He'll definitely get that news for me. Producer Ghost is actually telling me right now that it's Rasmus Kupari. That's right, because there's 2 Rasmuses that went in the draft. Rasmus Kupari going to Los Angeles Kings, and obviously Hayton going to the Coyotes. And then you have Rasmus Sandin, of course, being a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Kyle Dubas' beautiful team that he's building there in Toronto. But now a lot of people are being questioning about what's going to happen with Boris Kachuk. Is he going to play in the AHL, or is he coming back? And there's yes, in the first 10 games, he's going to have a lot of, let's say, hard decisions to make with the lineup. He's not going to have his full team, and he has to come into the system and learn about a new team. And it's not going to be easy for him, but he's definitely seems like the hockey guy that the Sioux is waiting to have in motion there. And I really feel that with having him aboard and having these younger guys that the Hounds have in the system, along with these guys that are coming back that are still young, that I think they're going to make a big impact. And the Hounds, one player that maybe I cannot see coming back this year, much to many fans' dismay, is maybe Boris Kachuk. I know that even if he goes back to the OHL, I don't know if there's interest in him coming back. Not that I'm saying that I know anything, because I can't say that officially. But I know that's one player with a big question mark on there. But, Radish and guys that are kind of moving on. But like I said, you have Hayton, you have Sandin. You're going to have Kupari, who's going to be pushed to play North American hockey, like Justin just alluded to with the Los Angeles Kings going to push that. And they have good hockey with Verbeek. They still have some guys that are young that could come, and they're coming up in the system. I really think the Hounds are going to be very effective this year and be a top 3 team still in the Western Conference. So don't doubt what the Hounds can do on the ice, and don't doubt anything that the Hounds can do with general with this coach that they have hired, because obviously Kyle's going to bring in a guy who has a different outlook than Drew Bannister, but they're going to bring in a guy who follows the blueprint that the Hounds want, and obviously this is the guy that Rathis felt was the best, and I'm very excited to see what he can bring to the table. Just any kind of final thoughts with the hiring of John Dean?
I'm just excited about the season going forward. I think it gives us a fresh face to help and fine-tune the bottom end of the roster, where a lot of these questions are coming from, where people are saying, well, the Hounds aren't going to be any good, the Hounds aren't going to be this, the Hounds aren't going to be that. Where are you basing this they're not going to be anything from? Because they're returning, I mean, just ballparking here, but probably 60% of the roster.
Yep.
I mean, you do have a new coaching staff, but you have to think that Rathis didn't make this move with, the best interest of the players not in mind. I'm excited. I think this is going to be an exciting season, and I think they can build off of the success they had last year.
Seeing producer Ghost is in my ear because he's actually telling me to state a Facebook post that was listed from a Greyhound fan, and he's currently in the middle of posting it because I told him that I want him to find the specific one. I think I know what he's going to be talking about. We're not going to mention any names, obviously, but with a lot of the fans' reactions, for example, let me tell you right now that people are being very negative about this. Very negative. Listen, the guy applied to a job that had an opening. Listen, if I had a bit more experience as a coach, not just 2 years under the Blind River Beavers associate coach position, I probably would have applied. Okay, and now the point is, and once again, don't want to steal Craig's thunder when he comes on in, but the Sioux used to be a very difficult place to bring in players, bring in staff, not players, because when you draft players, you're kind of, unless you're Eric Lindros, you're coming here. So, sorry, Eric, I'm not a fan of you when it comes to what you did when it comes to Soo Greyhounds, but that's besides the point. It's over and done with. Back in the 90s, that was 80s, late 80s. Yeah, that was late 80s. So, what I can really say right now is that people got to really step back and really trust what Raftis has done here, because Kyle Raftis was a part brought in the Bannister. People knew that they wanted Bannister from the start, but at the end of the day, people still questioned that with some of the people that was available. When the Greyhounds brought in the Kyle Dubas, and even when they brought in Sheldon Keefe, people were very skeptical about bringing in Sheldon Keefe as well. This is as bad as Kyle Dubas. Now, I'm sorry, where's Kyle Dubas? Last I checked, he's the manager of my favorite hockey team and literally in the hockey mecca of the world in the brightest mind hockey. Sheldon Keefe just led his AHL championship. Yes, a team that was built by Dubas, but that's Sheldon's got. Sheldon's got his prints all over that and his system and everything. They won that because of the way he coaches, not just because of Dubas building, which is no push to Dubas. They built it together. But Sheldon Keefe was able to put his blueprint there, and he started it here, and people were questioning that signing. And guess what? He succeeded. Now, with him moving on, we brought in Bannister. People are like, well, is Bannister going to be the right move? He just won Coach of the Year this year. So, obviously, it was the right move. We have Dubas leave. Raftis comes in. Is Raftis the right guy? Why don't we bring in Sharon Bresson again? Sorry to bring that up, but yeah, why don't we bring in someone more experienced? I know everyone with the Soo Greyhounds, a lot of the fan base is really stuck with not even our generation, Justin. It's older. It is. And producer Ghost is actually having a hard time finding that post, so we'll stay tuned for that as I sit here and discuss that, and he'll tell me if he's able to get that post that I can able to read out loud. But, a lot of the fans are really questioning it and really chirping it, and they shouldn't. Give this guy a chance. This guy is leaving leaving the comfortability of where he coaches now. He's bouncing around. He's going to come make the Sault Ste. Marie area his home. We're Sault Ste. Marie, and we're in Canada in general. We're known to be nice people. I know people compare the Sioux to like a Toronto media in terms of scrutinizing. Maybe not in terms of the passionate fan base, because we don't get 6,000 a night because the GFL Memorial Gardens it's not the SR Center anymore, so I make sure I said GFL Memorial Gardens. It doesn't hold as much, but the last I checked, we weren't really selling out a whole bunch until after the deadline. So I gotta say right now, fans, just buy your tickets, shut your mouth, and sit your butt in the seats and enjoy the talent that's on. I mean that with all due respect. They got good talent. They got good coaches. Yes, we have the right of freedom of opinion. We can sit here and scrutinize all we want. Hey, look what I do for a living here, talking about radio and scrutinizing sports. I get it. But being able to bash somebody freely without having the right kind of support and backup, with the only thing that you have to say is his inexperience, just look at the Greyhounds' track record as of late. It hasn't been an issue, and look at the team they have in place. The Greyhounds are going to be fine.
Well, I mean, if you go back to our shows even the beginning of last year, that's what we were beating the drum of, just getting people to the games, telling people how good this team was. And fans just reading fans' complaints in the Sioux Today's comments where, oh, it's too loud, oh, it's too this. Hey, it wasn't too loud in May when that place was selling out. So you have to show the same level of support if you want to be so critical of the team. I mean, everyone being that, publicly that critical in comment sections, vocally through town, you do scare away some potential prospects, whether it be players or coaches or things like that. And I mean, given the current economic climate and things that we have going on in the city, there's some other, like, even social issues that may have whittled the candidate pool down to, things that we don't know. So I think it's stupid. We need to welcome this guy with open arms and show him what the Sioux's all about. Fill that arena in September when the season opens and just support him. And support the team you were supporting in May, because those players that are coming back still need that same level of support that we almost got them to the Memorial Cup with.
I remember with losing, there's a tough loss that we had to Hamilton, ultimately because you don't like to blame gas or the team right now, gas, but I think Dean's going to come in and be able to tweak some of the areas the Hounds really need to improve on, and I really trust that the Hounds are going to give them the right team on the ice to be very competitive, as the Hounds have been quite competitive for the past few years, and they, if you think it's since 2010, making the playoffs about 50% of the time or more, that's pretty successful based on the direction it seemed that the organization was going in the early 2010s. So everyone sit down, say your comments that you want because you're gonna anyways, but give this guy a chance because he deserves it, and I'm looking forward to him being behind the bench for the Hounds and being able to put forth the best team that he could, and also give us a competitive team and a well-disciplined team on the ice and very good on the special teams end, and hopefully they can get us another run in the playoffs, with this time hopefully coming through to win the OHL championship to go to the Memorial Cup. Be a bigger challenge, I think, this year than it was last year, but they definitely have a decent team and a good enough team to do so, and I'm sure they'll add as necessary as well. Producer Ghost is telling me that he can't find the post. Producer Ghost has told me that the individual that he's looking up the post on, that it was a very good read, it was about 2 paragraphs, was actually deleted, it seems like. So I'm not sure if that individual's wife said, hey, take that down or I won't give you a kiss tonight. I'm not sure if that was the reason or not, but I'm just saying Producer Ghost said that joke. Sorry, Producer Ghost, took your joke. But let me tell you right now, it was definitely a good post. Basically, Producer Ghost has told me to say that it was simply saying how fans should give it a rest, enjoy it. Everyone thinks they're smarter than anybody else. Everyone thinks that they're better than what Rathis can decide. Rathis knows what he's doing. To shut up and enjoy the show is basically what the summary of that individual's post was, is what he said with his memory. So, fortunately, we couldn't read that post to you because I would have loved to, but we're going to have to save that. And if he ever finds it, Producer Ghost did say that he would let us know. Justin, that was about 30-some minutes there. Producer Ghost, again, saying his name a couple times. He's getting a lot of recognition today because he's subbing in for Scott Nason on Scott Nason's birthday. He said that we have to take a break, and it's the perfect time because Craig Hartsburg is ready to come on and join us and sit here at Silver Creek. It'll be myself interviewing Craig at this current time as Justin has to step away momentarily. And when Craig comes in, we're going to talk the OHL, we're going to talk the NHL in terms of the offseason and the salary cap. And then when Craig departs from here on the third part of the show, Justin and I are going to jump into some NHL news with some hopeful baseball news as well, and even golf if we have a little bit of time. Once again, shout out to Scott Nason on his birthday. Happy birthday, pal. Also, I got to say, make sure you look at my Facebook for that post today, and on Instagram for that checks that we brought to Northern Careers Need and Big Brother, Big Sister. But even the other post that I shared today, Jerry Patingolo's stag. One of my best friends, I'm staying up as a best man at his wedding December 29th, and his stag is September 20th. I told him I would get some plugs in here on radio. Make sure you state that you're going. You can get tickets from myself or anybody of the groomsmen or the family or outside family that are selling tickets that you can just check on my Facebook that I have shared, or just search Jerry Patingolo Stag on Facebook. It should come up right away. So we're going to go to our first break here on the Game Sports Show. When we come back, Craig's going to sit on down and join myself here on the Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional home to the Game Sports Show, Canadian franchise Boston Pizza. Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, located on 601 Great Northern Road, Sault Ste. Marie. Come in and join Boston Pizza for its numerous specials that are offered. After 9 p.m. daily, come in to Boston Pizza for $9 schooners, $4 rail drinks, and delicious food. Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, you're among friends.
Check out our brand new website up and running now at thegamesportshow.com. There you can find past broadcasts of all our shows from the Wicked Sister in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Boston Pizza and Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. As well, you can find our brand new t-shirts available for just $25 a shirt. All sizes are available, and proceeds will go towards Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Now you can purchase the shirt by emailing thegamesportshowssm@gmail.com. Please state the total amount of shirts and size needed. They have payment options available, e-transfer, or cash upon delivery, as a shirt can be delivered to your location if you live in the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Ontario area, free of charge. TheGameSportsShow.com, where you find all your local, regional, and national sports that you just can't get enough of.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors:
North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsoo.as.me-. The Salon, making the Soo beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Soo Pee Wee Pro Shop. The Soo Pee Wee Pro Shop, located inside a Community First Credit Union Soo Pee Wee Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Soo Pee Wee Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Well, welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McKeag. I'm here live on location for the second part of today's July the 12th edition of the Game Sports Show, live at Silver Creek Golf Course. As you know, as I said on the top of the show, that we'll be splitting our Thursdays and Sundays between Boston Pizza and Silver Creek for the month of July until we are moving into our new sponsor in the month of August that will be announced next week's edition of the Game Sports Show on the Thursday edition, as we will be continuing, though, our partnership here with Silver Creek Golf Course for the rest of the summer. Without further ado, though, as I mentioned at the top, we have a very special guest whom is no stranger to the Game Sports Show. You can listen to a previous edition of the show on the May 31st edition. His name is Craig Hartsburg, former coach of Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, and well-known in the hockey world, and obviously well-known to the Game Sports Show. Craig, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Of course, glad to have you back on. I know you have quite the busy schedule, as does everybody, it seems, and glad that you can take the time to join us on the show.
No problem. It's always fun to talk about hockey and Sault Ste. Marie for sure.
Absolutely. It's definitely been a busy summer. There's local camps getting started with the youth hockey, with power skating. Sandra Finley's doing a program out. Mr. DeLuca's doing a program as well. And a lot of NHL players like Colin Miller and pro hockey player Brett Finley, who just signed a contract overseas as well, being involved with that. So hockey never rests in Sault Ste. Marie, as we know. And today we're going to jump in with you. We're going to talk about the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds' new coach, who just came aboard and actually got announced today, which is why Brad Cochimilio is not on the scene today, as he's on the scene getting prepared for that with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. The Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, whom are going to be a part of the Game Sports Show family starting in September. So it's very exciting news today with Coach John Dean being named the 20th coach in history for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. And we're also going to touch on some NHL and news around the offseason, get some Craig's reaction with that. And before we jump into that, though, Craig, I know you today the Game Sports Show is able to go around to Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother Big Sister and hand out checks on behalf of our shirt sales that are for sale for $25. You can purchase that through our website, www.thegamesportshow.com. You just email us, you state the sizes and the amount of shirts that you need, and we do free delivery if you live within Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan and Soo, Ontario, and there are some slight shipping costs if you live outside of those regions. But we were able to deliver checks to both charities today, and one of the individuals from Big Brother Big Sister, Rebecca Bolton, whom is a family member of yours truly, stated how she was working with you in the next coming weekend with Root River Golf Course for a golf tournament that's going on. She made sure that I first off said hi to you, like I said, off the air, but also that you brought up the tournament and was able to discuss it a little bit. Would you be able to touch on that?
Sure. Sure. It's our the second annual, and it's a real family event. I know it's a real busy weekend, that weekend in the Soo, but we're looking forward to having a good turnout. Last year, again, we had a small group, but it was an intimate group and had a real blast. It's it's a family. We're trying to really focus on it's a family event. I know my grandsons are going to play with me, and we're encouraging people to bring their kids out. It's a great fun day. It's a par 3 tournament, so it is suitable, and kids enjoy it. Like I said, it's a real fun day. It's a low pressure golf tournament where fun is at the premium, and at the end of the day, it's for a great cause for kids in the city of Sault Ste. Marie, and they're our biggest asset. And anything we can do to help big brothers and big sisters, I'm all in for it.
Absolutely, and in Sault Ste. Marie, I've been a firm believer, and I think you can back up with this, is that you got to work together as a local businesses and communities like Big Brother, Northern Quitters being involved here with the Game Sports Show, and the golf courses as well, as it's probably maybe seem a little bit strange. I'm promoting a Root River golf tournament here as Silver Creek is on board here as we're currently doing the show. But you know what? As Jamie Henderson would definitely back up with as well, is that we all work together and we all promote each other. It's getting everything together in Sault Ste. Marie, as that's how this community is. It's very tight-knit. And to have these tournaments is very good, especially when it's for charity or for non-for-profit, or simply to go out and enjoy yourself and meet local Sioux celebrities or national figures much like yourself. It's definitely good to go out and enjoy a game of golf as well, and to work on that golf game. As I'd like to share with you, Craig, I'm not too good at the old golf. My swing, I think my drive is good, but after I get to that short game, I don't think there's anybody worse in the world at golf.
You're at the right place there. Just get Jamie to take you out to the practice range and give you a few tips.
I could. He told me that I'm unteachable when it comes to that.
Well, there's certain players we call uncoachable, so you might be one of those in golf.
Yeah, I might be one of those in golf. He may say that I was one of those as a player too, as he was with me when he coached me with the Sioux Thunderbirds. But you know, all for fun and jokes aside, it's definitely good to come out and enjoy that. You can reach Big Brother Big Sister on Facebook or simply by phone and talk to Rebecca Bolton, and she'll give you the information. Or if you have the courage to reach out to Craig Hartsburg as well, I'm sure he can give you information. You can also find information.
I'll direct you to Rebecca.
Yeah, you're simply going to direct you right to Rebecca, but make sure there's still room to sign up for teams. I know she's trying to get more individuals and teams there. Yours truly will have shirts for sale on location, hopefully by that event. Depends on making sure the next batch get in, as the shirts have been selling out extremely frequently and quickly, which is nice to see, but we're hoping to have an appearance there as well, as we support local tournaments, especially with Big Brother Big Sister. But Greg, we're going to jump into kind of the meat and potatoes. I'm going to start here with a bang. I kind of want to jump right into the hiring of John Dean being named the 20th head coach of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. And, a lot of people had rumors going around town that Jones was rumored for this, or maybe Jordan Smith was rumored for this. There's a lot of rumors with your son as well, to say flat out. There's a lot, the media and social media tend to veer to a lot of names and probability prospects to come in. And not saying that John Dean wasn't on the radar or anything of such. His name was bounced around. But, it seemed today they said that they were very close a couple days ago, as what Raf just told the Game Sports Shows and Sioux Today's own Brad Cuchamilio, that they were very close to making a decision. So they did make a decision today that the 37-year-old will be joining the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. He spent last season as the head coach and assistant GM of the Toronto Patriots in the OJHL, and the club had a 48-3-3 regular season before being named the coach of the year. So promotion from the junior hockey ranks, and which is great to see in itself. But Craig, I wanted to get your background that about the new coach coming in for Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. I've learned that you've told me that you've met him the other day. What your perspective is on him, and what's the benefits of the Hounds bringing him in, and what can the Hounds fans expect from Coach Dean?
Well, before yesterday, I didn't know John Dean. Didn't know much about him, but spent some time there yesterday with John, and came away very impressed. I think he's going to do a real good job here in Sault Ste. Marie. I'm sure there was a lot of real good candidates. John, again, speaking with him yesterday and reading some information on him, I really believe that he'll continue with the exciting brand of hockey here in Sault Ste. Marie, and add his own touch to it. Every coach will add something to an organization. Obviously, if there's an organization that's really struggled and you have to rebuild it, then you add a big part. I think John's going to come in and put a touch onto this team and this organization that fans will enjoy. I think, again, talking with him, he's a very aggressive coach. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of emotion, and I think that'll come out in the team, as well as an aggressive style of game. I think he's going to be a good addition to the organization, and I think him and Kyle will really work well together again to continue to build the Soo Greyhounds as an elite junior franchise in Canada.
Absolutely, and the thing is, I remember when the Hounds brought in Kyle Dubas, whom is now the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're going to get into your reaction with Kyle Dubas's recently big signing July 1st. But I remember when people's comments about bringing in Dubas was that inexperience factor, it was the youth factor, and it seems like, and we've discussed this in our previous edition, how the game has changed not just on the ice but even off the ice in terms of management, and how the approach is to the game much different than what it used to be. Even from when you were playing and from when I was playing and all that, that's a different kind of outlook on the game. And Coach Dean was an assistant coach with the North Bay Battalion for 3 years, and then he was 6 seasons of a head coach in the North York Rangers. I'm getting this information from Brad Kochmelio as well. I must give him credit for make sure he provides this information to me to make sure I'm 100% accurate. And then he's also very excited to be with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds as well. And he was on the North Bay Centennials, so he has some hockey experience there with the OHL, and he played with the Amarillo Gorillas as well as the CHL. So he has that mentality, of an experience of coaching, some accolades and accomplishment. He was OJHL coach of the year last year, head coach of the Team East CJHL Top Prospects, ranked first in power play percentage in the OJHL, and he's an OHL alumni, as I just mentioned. So he has some good accolades and accomplishments. But I want to ask you, Craig, that is an experience going to be an issue here, or should we even doubt that anymore? Like, I know everyone kind of looks at maybe, for example, let's use Jordan Smith as an example, who was with the Sudbury organization this year, that maybe they could have went that route with somebody who has been there, or if they could have went another route, somebody who has experience. Everyone always gears to Ted Nolan when it comes to town, and to be honest, a lot of people even kind of gear to trying to bring you back is what they should have tried to do to coach. So, or do you think that maybe this way and direction of hockey, that the way it's going, that the Hounds made a good move here, or do you think inexperience in the OHL level as a coach is going to factor this at all?
We can all question this or say this. I think the bottom line, he's the guy that that Kyle Raftis believes in, and we have no reason not to trust Kyle Raftis and what he's done here in Sault Ste. Marie. And again, meeting with John yesterday, he's a modern coach. He's very communicative. He's lots of energy. He knows the game, and I think personally that they picked a good man. Like I said, there's probably a lot of good people that wanted the job and applied for the job, and I just think that experience is one thing, but this is junior hockey, and I think you're gonna build organizations around good people. John's a good person. Again, everything I've been told, and I've spoke with him yesterday, met with him, so I came away impressed with him, and I think he's what the organization needs. He understands the game. He understands the emotion and the passion here in Sault Ste. Marie, and he's looking forward to it. He's looking forward to being here. And in the past, there was probably people that didn't want to be here in Sault Ste. Marie and wouldn't apply for the job. But this guy is really excited to being part of the organization, and I think the fans will enjoy the type of game that he's going to bring to Sault Ste. Marie. That's
the big outlook that I could agree more, that I like with, as I want to say, I don't know if maybe youth would be the right term, but somebody fresh and somebody new has a different kind of look that maybe some other coaches would have had. I'm excited to see what he could, what kind of outlook he's going to bring, and kind of what kind of plays and what kind of systems he can run, or if it's just going to be the type of guy that's just going to basically lead off where Bannister left off, if he's going to kind of push off that. Do you think that the Hounds are going to have a complete different system kind of look? I know you just met him yesterday, or do you feel that maybe Raftis bringing him in, maybe it's because he has the same similarities and outlooks as Bannister, or do you think Raftis is trusting Dean to run basically his own ideas?
Well, I think every coach is going to be different. And I don't think you want to hire a coach that says, well, I'll just do exactly what Drew Bannister did. I don't think that'll work, first of all. I think you have to have a guy that has his own personality, has his own ideas. And I'm pretty positive a lot of those ideas are going to fall in line with how the Greyhounds have played the last few years, and he's going to tweak it. He'll add some things that'll be positive for the group. And like I said, also should be positive for the fans. He's an aggressive coach. He's a very enthusiastic man. So again, his personality will be different, and the players will see that early. And I think as a player, I think again you'll see very quickly he'll put his fingerprints on the group, and it's always tough in junior to get started with any team, but this team will be even tougher for him because of a couple things. First, he'll be missing a lot of players at training camp. They'll be away at NHL camp, so we'll all have to be patient. So there has to be some patience because he will be missing a lot of key players early, and again, the expectations have to be kept intact here in Sault Ste. Marie. I think we've had a great run. There's been a lot of success here in the last 3-4 years, and we should be excited, but also keep expectations in line. We're also lost a lot of good players here in the Soo this summer, so there will be a learning process for everybody. The players that are going to step up into bigger roles, again, no matter who is coaching, it was going to be a bit of a challenge. So, but I think all in all, at the end of the day, the Greyhounds will have a real strong team, and a team that again should contend in the Western Conference.
Absolutely. I believe they're going to have a good team on the ice as well, and one of those players that we feel may not be here right away might be Barrett Hayton, who was drafted 5th overall by the Coyotes, going up a little bit more than expected, but definitely well-deserved for that young man. He definitely has some talent, does Coach Dean, to put on that ice this season. And just to say quickly, Craig, before we move on to our next topic, I like the quote that was in from Soo today, and Brad Kochmelio, that he said, "I'm honored and excited to be named head coach of Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and look forward to carrying on the club's tradition of excellence. I'd like to thank Tim, Kyle, and the entire board for giving me this amazing opportunity." And then he said, "I was blessed to be surrounded by incredible staff and group last season, helped me grow and lead to this new chapter in life." And then he therefore went on to many more comments. But he seems like a very well put together and very professional, and as you said, very enthusiastic, and Greyhounds fans should be certainly excited to see where this leads with Coach Dean. Now, moving on, Craig, we're going to go to the NHL. We'll jump right into, and I want to... I say professionally speaking, obviously growing up as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, that I grew up with a lot of...
Too bad for you.
Yeah, definitely too bad for me. Grew up with a lot of heartache. I saw with Buffalo defeating Toronto in the late 90s in the conference final. Then we ended up losing the conference final again to Ron Francis and the Carolina Hurricanes, which was also Paul Maurice being a part of there as well, whom is a friend and a listener and on the show quite often. And also former coach of Toronto, Paul Maurice was, obviously. And, a lot of times where we went against Philadelphia and we've ended up losing in 2004. I remember Jeremy Roenick scoring that goal and doing that celebration that he did when I was younger. And we just haven't been able to...
I was there for that game, actually. I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, you were there for that game. I was actually too about to say that. I'm certainly sure you did. And I really think, Toronto has had they haven't won a Stanley Cup since '67, as obvious as that is, and they're kind of trying to get to the point of where they can be competitive again, and not just competitive where they were before. They want to get over that hump and attempt to win the Stanley Cup. In a league right now that has a lot of good teams that have talent, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Washington's, Vegas's, the Nashville Predators, the Winnipeg Jets. There's a lot of teams out there that are extremely competitive, and July 1st of this year, 2018, I remember sitting in my home watching the television, watching both big outlets of media between Rogers Media and Bell Media. I'll say both, TSN and Sportsnet watching, and the announcement of John Tavares getting signed to the Toronto Maple Leafs on a 7-year, $77 million contract for a cap hit of $11 million a year, with Tavares breaking the news that he will be signing for and with the Toronto Maple Leafs as GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Sault Ste. Marie native Kyle Dubas hit an absolute home run apparently at the presentation that he presented to John Tavares. And, we talked about this on the show in last week's edition of the Boston Pizza and Silver Creek edition of the show. We even talked about this yesterday on the Sports Center edition of the Game Sports Show. But I like getting different people's perspectives. As you know, we have a lot of analysts and a lot of special guests on the show. Craig, I want to get your reaction on Tavares going to Toronto, what that does for Toronto, and is it truly the biggest signing in franchise history?
Well, I don't know about that, the biggest signing. I just don't follow how the signing's that close, but it is obviously a huge signing, and I thought all along that would be a perfect fit for John, but it would also be a perfect fit for the Leafs. They're obviously a good team. They're a good team before they got John Tavares, and young players that are key players for him. I think John coming in there gives them obviously another offensive weapon. You can't win Stanley Cups without a real strong center position, and usually most teams that win cups have that 1-2 punch and a strong third-line center, and now you look at Toronto's lineup, that certainly gives them that, with Matthews, Tavares, and Kadri as their third-line center. So that's a big thing when you look at the teams that have won, the Pittsburghs and the LAs, and in the last 10 years. So obviously it's a huge signing. Now, obviously there's so many good teams. Does it guarantee the Leafs anything? No, because there's so many good teams, but it does make them a better team. It gives them a more experienced player in the front line. It will take some heat off Austin Matthews. It will take some heat off him, but at the same time, it will also challenge him, because it's that's what good players do. Their presence challenges other players, other good players, to raise their game. So there's not a negative thing that you can say about the signing. It's all positive, and it's got to be an exciting time if you're a Leaf fan. And you're not there yet, but you're obviously a lot closer to winning a Stanley Cup right now than you were at the end of the season. But there's still 82 games to go through next year, and then a long playoff run. But I'd be excited if I was a Leaf fan, because John is a premium player, an elite player, and it'll give him an opportunity as well to play with some quality players that maybe there was lacking a little bit here in the island in the last year or so. But it'll be fun to watch. It'll be exciting to watch. And again, does it guarantee them anything? No, that's just the NHL. Nothing is ever guaranteed. So, but you should be excited.
No, absolutely, and I wanted to say, especially with John, you had the experience, especially being on the international ranks, to see him as a 16-year-old attempted to make the World Junior team. Then the year after, or you being with him before in the World Juniors, having him and coaching him. Do you feel like a lot of people were surprised that Johnny T didn't get the C right away? And I was one of the individuals that said, they have a lot of veterans on that team, like Marlowe and Hainsey, who have been guys that probably, if they want to slap a C on somebody for the sake of slapping a C on somebody, that they probably go down that route first. But is John Tavares' impact as a leader, I know it's different from when you're a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old, then you're getting to 27, 28, 29 in the National Hockey League, especially after he's been a captain of the New York Islanders and been a part of that organization for years. But what kind of man is Toronto getting here? I know it's, like I said, different from when you had him when you was younger, but is this definitely kind of the leadership that Leafs fans should be excited about as well?
Well, if you look at John, where he's come from, he's had the spotlight on him pretty much his whole life. So him coming to Toronto is, I think everybody may be surprised at how big a spotlight you're under when you're there. But John will handle that better than probably anybody. He's had it since he was 15 years old in the OHL, and He's played through the World Junior, so for them not to name him captain at this point, I don't think it's that important, really. It's just he will have a great impact on that group, whether he has the C or not. And I think a lot of times people overestimate, well, who's the captain and who's not. There's usually a leadership group, and if John is the captain or isn't the captain, he certainly is going to be part of that there in Toronto. And the younger players, again, from what I know of John and what I've seen him, it's not his style to be vocal and outspoken, but he will show the way in his work habits and practice, and is showing up ready to play in games and in tough situations. He has had the knack of coming through, so his leadership will come by people watching rather than him telling people. And I think that's important in the game today too. I think the leadership is how you perform and how you play, how you prepare, how you work. Their younger players are going to learn a great deal from John in those areas, along with, again, the Marleau and Tavares. To me, those two guys they couldn't ask for two better veterans to be there, and those young players in Toronto are going to get a lot from that.
Absolutely, and Dave McKeag alongside Craig Hartsburg, special guest here on the Game Sports Show. There's a couple more things before I let you go. Your side of the offseason, continuing with the offseason side of things, what team do you feel greatly improved? I know you may have kept in touch a little bit or may have not. A lot of teams that made moves like St. Louis bringing in Bozak, trading for O'Reilly and Patrick Maroon. You have Detroit re-signing Mike Green, adding a great draft that Detroit had is where they got a lot of their feedback. The Islanders, again, having a great draft. Maybe they had a good offseason based on subtraction, just to open up that cap space and allow some young guys to come up. And just a lot of teams making some moves to try to get better. Pittsburgh signing Jack Johnson, moving out some cap. Buffalo signing Rasmus Dahlin, obviously, which is a generational talent. Based on the offseason that you have been able to follow this point, what team do you feel has been greatly improved, or even some notes that you want to state with the NHL offseason thus far?
Well, I think there's been a lot of teams that have added people and changed parts of their team, and it's hard to totally revamp your team in the off season in the NHL. But obviously Toronto getting Tavares is the best player. I shouldn't say the best player. He was the best free agent, but Erik Karlsson is still. They're still trying to figure out what to do with him there in Ottawa, and whoever gets him, that's going to have a big impact, not just on the team that's getting them, but also on Ottawa, what they get back. So there's a lot of changes. I think St. Louis is probably a team that's changed their team more than anybody, and they probably felt they had to add some different personalities into the room, and so I think they've changed. And how much better they're going to be, it's hard to say at this point. But free agency is in the past you've overspent on players that maybe you shouldn't have, and but I think teams are learning that. They've learned the hard way, really, is make sure you're getting the right people that are going to fit into your group and fit into your team, not just the glitz and glamour. And right now, for me, the team that's made themselves better the most obviously would be Toronto, just because of the impact player and the elite player that they got, and they didn't have to give up anything to get them. It's like Karlsson is going to move to somebody, but somebody's going to have to pay a big price for him.
No, absolutely. And apparently the front runners for Karlsson have been rumored for days as Tampa Bay Lightning, but Steve Yzerman quickly kiboshing that, saying that is not the case, and you got Vegas surfacing there, so whoever does get Karlsson, and still some things may have not happened in the offseason, teams that want to improve, Toronto still being one of them on the defensive end that they greatly need to improve. Ottawa's situation, you said, Craig, and obviously, there's the teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins as well, where they've been rumored to the Max Pacioretty deals as well, how they would make that fit. So it's been a very exciting offseason for sure. But the big thing that constrains a lot of team, which is going to bring our next question to here, next topic, is the salary cap. And Pittsburgh Penguins are in that right now. Los Angeles Kings re-signing Drew Doughty for $11 million a season for the next 8 years. So they have guys that are locked up, like Jeff Carter, Doughty, Kopitar, and guys that just eat up massive chunks of their contract and salary cap. So the salary cap now has increased a little bit this year and seems to be increasing year by year slightly. You know, there's been some times where it's halted since the previous lockout, but the NHL cap in general, and this is big in the NBA right now with Adam Silver coming out with the Golden State Warriors, stating how teams are upset about how Golden State is stacked and how they continue to bring in these star players even at discounts amounts, like they signed DeMarcus Cousins. Now, that's me bringing up NBA news here on the hockey part of the show, but just as an example, with the NHL salary cap situation, do you see the NHL salary cap continuing to ascend, or do you think there should be another approach to the cap? Do you agree with the NHL having a hard cap that it has, just to refrain from those teams like the Torontos, like the Montreals, like the Detroits, like the late 90s and early 2000s being able to stack teams?
Well, I think the salary cap has proven it works in the NHL. It's been good for everybody, and it's probably going to continue to go up and maybe down a little bit here and there, but it's not going to jump 10 million in a year. But I think it has helped. I think it has helped keep things in line for teams, all kinds of teams, whether you're a small market team or or New York or Toronto, and it keeps the league. It keeps parity in the league, and again, it keeps spending in line as much as you can say that, but it does keep teams cognizant of the fact that they only have so many dollars to spend, and the teams that get hampered the most are the ones that usually end up winning, are the ones that have won cups, but that's the price you pay for winning Stanley Cups. You have to pay your top players, the Kanes, the Tays, Crosby, Malkin. Those guys are all deserving of the money they've gotten because they've won those cups, and they're the ones that have to struggle the most with the salary cap or those Stanley Cup teams. But I think it works in the NHL. I think it's done what they thought it would do, and I certainly don't think it's ever going to change at this point. I think the players have benefited from it as well. I don't think it's been a hamper on the players. I think there's maybe things that they'd like to tweak in their agreement, but I think it's proven that this has been a real good system for everybody.
It absolutely has, because it works so well, and I'm kind of hoping that other leagues adopt it, but again, it's very difficult, and I think it's some other leagues to be able to do so. I think just the NHL has been such a perfect fit overall for the National Hockey League. Now, Craig, we went a little bit above time, so I'm being told from producer Ghost, I like to call him, that I kind of have to start wrapping up as I could. As you and I could probably talk for hours and hours and upon hours, but we'll make sure that we don't talk for hours upon hours, because we plan to get you on much more throughout the summer and throughout when you're available here on the Game Sports Show, and also simply because we do have time limits here on shows that sometimes I forget. So I wanted to say thank you very much for coming on by here today for the Game Sports Show, and we plan and hope to have you on in the extreme near future.
Thanks for having me, and enjoy it anytime. Thanks. Absolutely.
That's Craig Hartsburg, joining here Dave McKeag here at the Game Sports Show, live from Silver Creek Golf Course on a special edition of the Game Sports Show. We're going to take a quick break. Myself and Justin Heiko will be right back with you, discussing a bit more hockey news and even a little bit of baseball news. And if we also have time, we'll be discussing a little bit of golf news as well, as Jamie Henderson would love to hear. We'll be right back after these messages. The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McKeag. We just said goodbye to Craig Hartsburg. I'm bringing back in Justin Heichel. I want to say thanks to Craig Hartsburg for stopping on by here on the Game Sports Show, bringing in his experience, his intelligence, his fun, his everything to the Game Sports Show. Very happy to have Craig on, and we'll have him on much more throughout here on the Game Sports Show. We're live on location at Silver Creek Golf Course, where we have been for the evening, and we're here on their wing night, and it's a good, nice night. Surprisingly, we thought it would be a little bit more rainy, but it's nice here as Justin and I are on the patio here at Silver Creek Golf Course. I got to give a special shout out to Paul here as well, and also to Jamie Henderson, of course, as well. And again, I'm going to say Scott Nason, happy birthday. Once again, our usual board operator and host of the Game Sports Show as well. And now, Justin, you and I, before we brought in Craig, we were talking about the OHL. We thought in the first part that we were going to put in a little bit of NHL time, but we ended up going into more of the Soo Greyhound signing and getting into the Greyhounds as a whole. As you know, we haven't really done too much Greyhounds discussion since our last game of the year, and the Greyhounds are obviously whom we're going to be covering throughout the entire season. We plan to have players on from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and coach and staff. We plan to be partner of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in September, along with much more local updates from the Sioux Thunderbirds as well. So sometimes when you get in a conversation and you get talking about Sault Ste. Marie armchair GMs, it's always very interesting to get on that topic. And trust me, Justin and I aren't those types of people. I know some people think that I'm an armchair GM when it comes to trades for the Toronto Maple Leafs in particular, but no, we like to keep it real here on the Game Sports Show, and that's why in the first part we kept it just Greyhounds. And then with Hartsburg coming in, the first thing that we talked about obviously was with Dean getting hired, so it transitioned very clearly, and then we jumped into the NHL and some NHL chat, which transitions clearly now for us to talk about some NHL talk that we didn't get a chance to talk about with Craig, as we extended Craig's stay, as we thought this was about 15 minutes, but we end up getting a half hour. We seem to do that a lot here on the Game Sports Show. When we say 15 minutes, I think we really mean a half hour. I know producer Ghost does not love that as much as we do, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles in comparison to live radio or podcasted. So we're already here 2 minutes into this third part of the show, and producer Ghost was saying try to keep this under 15 minutes, so that's going to be our goal here, to try to keep it under as that, and we're even going to try to even reach for 10 minutes. Oh, good luck to anybody who's predicting that. But right now in this third part, we're going to talk about the NHL, a little bit of updates from there and reactions, along with a little bit of MLB and hopefully some golf little points as well before we conclude tonight's show on the topic end. And yes, since the trivia question was not in the first part or the second part, I wonder what part that it's in. It is in this part. And guess what? You're going to hear the question right now. If you don't know what the trivia question is, you've obviously been living under a rock. We started the trivia question January 4th. At Boston Pizza is when the trivia question started. We've now transitioned the trivia question over to here at Silver Creek as we do the multiple choice segment now on the Boston Pizza Show, just to keep it all interesting and kind of spread out for now. The trivia question is you get to win a prize courtesy of one of the sponsors on the Game Sports Show, or location sponsor of the Game Sports Show. And here on this trivia question at Silver Creek Golf Course, it's going to tell you what the prize is because it might make you a bit more enticed to answer the trivia question. The trivia question is going to be here at Silver Creek, and it's going to be involving Silver Creek's prize. It's going to be a free round of golf. When you send in your answer to the Game Sports Show, SSM, again, the Game Sports Show, SSM, again, the Game Sports Show, SSM, at gmail.com, you send in the right answer, and you state what the answer is of that question, what the question was. For example, what color are David's eyes? They're like brown hazel, but they're mostly light brown. That's wrong. You got to say light brown. You know, you state the right answer. There have been people where they have answered wrong, but you got to make sure that you send a message to the email for your answer. It is no longer messaging me on Facebook or anybody else as such. It has to be on the email, and the first person to send in the answer, as the time is tracked on Gmail, that's who will get consideration for the prize to ensure the correct answer was answered, and if it is right, the person who answered first gets it. Now, again, it's a free round of golf from Silver Creek Golf Course. That's a $45 value. And the cart would be included. People ask about that. Yes, that would be included in that as well. I don't know if balls would be included. You got to ask Kendall that one. And I don't know if it would be for us, but let me tell you that it is a $45 value, along with the card as well. Could exceed that to the $50 value, and it's definitely worth you just logging into your email and sending an answer to a trivia question here on the Game Sports. Like a nice free round of golf on a day off you can enjoy with a friend. Now, people are going to ask if it's one person or for two. This one we do have to state for policy reasons. It is for one person to get a free round of golf. But I'm sure if you wanted to come with your wife and you're a frequent comer to Silver Creek Golf Course, I'm sure you can get in touch with Jamie Henderson. And he's a nice enough guy to maybe make some arrangements for you to try to branch that out a little further. So without further ado, let's get into the trivia question. The trivia question this week. Pretty straightforward. It's a good question to ask for the first time here at Silver Creek. What was the record of new Greyhound coach John Dean's OJHL team in the 2017-2018 year? Again, what was the record of new Greyhound coach John Dean's OJHL Toronto Patriots team this past season? Simply send in your answer to the Game Sports Show, ssm@gmail.com, and you have your chance to win a free round of golf courtesy of Silver Creek Golf Course. So, Justin, the trivia question. Feels good to say that. Nice little free round of golf. Get some action here on the course, the beautiful course they have here at Silver Creek Golf Course. You can pick any tee time you want. Very simple to send in that answer to the email. Very simple. And you get to win a free round of golf.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. I mean, we've had some good prizes, but this is the cream of the crop so far.
It is, and obviously shout out to Boston Pizza as well. We originally had given away free large pizzas is what we were doing. Obviously that is a great prize as well and a good value, almost a $30 value as well. But with Hendo requesting the trivia question be on this show, and obviously being able to give a round of golf would be very rewarding for you to enjoy a great golf course here at Silver Creek. So getting into the show though, we have some NHL news too that we're going to discuss. As you heard that Craig and I were discussing about some of the NHL salary cap, if we ever feel the cap's ever going to change. Justin, that you heard, we're not really going to jump into some salary cap stuff. I loved hearing his reaction with the John Tavares signing in Toronto. I loved his little jab at me, saying that he feels sorry for me being a Leaf fan, and saying how he was there when Jeremy Roenick got that winner in 2004 against the Toronto Maple Leafs as being a part of the Philadelphia Flyers organization. Definitely some fun. But some things that happened in the NHL today, some news. Marian Hossa's contract was traded to the Arizona Coyotes, reuniting David Boland and Marian Hossa together. Definitely some fun right there. With Henestrada going over to Arizona as well, along with some prospects and picks. With Kruger and some prospects and picks going back over to Chicago. It was definitely a salary cap dumping, obviously, for Chicago, so I think they give up some prospects and players and whatnot to open up cap space for the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Chicago Blackhawks are trying to be active this offseason as they missed the playoffs last year, which is very strange to say. A team that's been very successful winning many Stanley Cups. They have Johnny Taves, they have Patrick Kane, they have some good hockey players and talent there. Obviously, it seems that the Hounds. Wow, talking a lot of Hounds today, but it seems like the Chicago Blackhawks are trying to get back to the winning ways, and now they're being fronted for a lot of trade rumors now. With these trade happening, they open up all this cap space. Are they going to be making a move for Montreal Canadiens forward Max Pacioretty or Jeff Skinner? I don't see a Jeff Skinner fit. I'm going to quickly say I do see a Max Pacioretty fit there in Chicago. Taves, Pacioretty, and Kane being on line would be absolutely insane. Or even keep Saad there and then put Pacioretty on the second line if you really want to do that. I really think that Chicago is going to be active, especially towards Montreal, because they have been trade partners before. I think that there's a relationship there, and Bergevin obviously has a connection with Chicago because that is where he came from before he signed over with the Montreal Canadiens. I'm sure Montreal Canadiens fans love having that individual in their front office in Montreal. Sorry, Bergevin. I don't know who I hate on more on the show, as if it's Bergevin or sometimes Jake Gardner. Jake Gardner, who we actually hope to have on the show. Again, in that transition, Justin's getting very serious with that we very interesting to see to get Jake Gardner on the show. But your reaction on the trade for Chicago? Obviously, they have something brewing.
I don't know that there's something immediate brewing. Just because Montreal has said they want to get rid of Max Pacioretty, it doesn't mean other teams want him. I don't see what's there that, all right, you have some salary cap you need to fill up, and you want a guy who doesn't, play well when he's held accountable for his actions and performance on the ice. and took a captaincy in Montreal and pretty well wiped his ass with it. I mean, really, like I feel like Montreal fans hold their team in somewhat high regard, like us Leaf fans hold our team. And so the captaincy is a very important thing. And just to see how this guy is kind of lacklusterly went about it, because I don't. Who was there? Was it Saku Koivu and then Max Pacioretty as their captain? Like there was no one in between. So for a guy like Saku Koivu is kind of like the Matt Sundin of the Montreal Canadiens, just low end and not as good. And then gets replaced, like Max Pacioretty is the next guy on the list. It's kind of a slap in the face to that roster of former captains in Montreal, to me. I honestly think you're going to see a guy like Pacioretty end up in a team like Florida or one of those. We got to hit the salary cap floor markets, and we don't really care about the on-ice performance. Just touching on your Chicago thing, though, I think Chicago is positioning themselves to make a move. In the event that the team is exceeding expectations, they'd like to have that flexibility to be able to do something, whether it's 10 games into the season or whether it's at the trade deadline. But I don't see Chicago as a team to just bring someone into the fray like Pacioretty, who hasn't been there before, especially at that dollar value.
Be interesting to see for sure what happens, because Pacioretty is a subject of and the front runner of trade rumors, but he's behind somebody. We know who that person is that he's behind. Erik Karlsson. We're still waiting for that domino to fall. I feel when that domino falls, more will come, especially when it comes to the Justin Falk area of things. Justin Falk, who's been rumored to be moved by the Carolina Hurricanes. Toronto Maple Leafs being the front runner for that, for Justin Falk apparently. Be very interesting to see how this has been a very good offseason, because it's been very exciting. I don't know if it's because I'm a Leaf fan, and having a sports show, we don't gear ourselves to have favoritism anywhere. We do have more coverage about Toronto here on the show, obviously. But coming from somebody who really follows the free agency a lot, this has been the most exciting free agency frenzy, the most exciting draft, not in terms of talent, just in terms of trade and keeping people at the end of their seat, and also just off-season in general for the NHL. And Erik Karlsson not being traded right now still really, I don't know, it kind of throws me off. I kind of felt that he would have been traded by now, just because of how this has gone on too far, too long. But I feel obviously Ottawa just doesn't want to get rid of one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League. I feel like you need to get the right deal. And Yzerman has come out and said that there has been no deal. But obviously Chicago is not wasting any time being able to get rid of that contract with Marian Hossa going to Arizona. And Marian Hossa will not be playing hockey again, it seems, based on that injury. So obviously a salary cap dumping that maybe Arizona can put on their LTIR as well, even though Arizona has a very thin amount of budget. They might be able to do such that. But Arizona is below the cap because of what they have for players there and prospects, and they're building young guys with Perlini being there, with Krause being there, and Strome, and having those guys in. And Perlini, who I just mentioned, we're having on the show here on the Silver Creek edition probably in August, him and his brother Brandon. So Brandon and Brett, being the brothers, will be coming on here on the Game Sports Show, hopefully live on location as well. And it'd be very interesting to see if Marian Hossa can at least maybe show his face in that locker room in Arizona and give a little bit of veteran output there in Arizona. People wonder what people do when they're on LTIR. If you look at Toronto's example of Nathan Horton, it definitely shows that Nathan Horton is not even in the locker room as much. He's not there. He's staying home. Marian Hossa loves being around the game. I love being in the locker room. I know when it came to Chicago, he stayed home with family, and he didn't really focus on that, but I know he says he wants to be around the game as much as he can. So I'm very interested to see if Marian Hossa comes in and kind of helps Arizona with, let's say, a little bit of guidance to these young kids that are coming up in Arizona, because Arizona needs to start being competitive based on all the picks that they have had and all the prospects that they have. They need to improve their goaltending, but this trade helped them immediately. They got some good players in Hinostrada going there and some picks, so I think it does help them now. They absorbed that contract. By the time it will really matter, they won't have that contract on anyways, so it's going to help both teams here, and it's definitely a good hockey trade in general. But definitely watch out for Chicago now, because even though Justin says no, I'm saying yes, that something is kind of brewing with the Hawks, because I feel like they want to go into the season, they want to make an impact right away and not get too far behind in the Western Conference that is very deep now with Winnipeg, Nashville, Vegas, and the list goes on, that maybe they kind of want to make an immediate push right away. And I think bringing in Pacioretty to put them over the top, though? No. I really don't know if it does. Yeah, he's a powerful winger, but I think I'd rather go the Jeff Skinner route than Max Pacioretty. Not because he's American or Canadian, so that's no disrespect to the American listeners. Jeff Skinner has been a verified goal scorer. He's done it on a team that he's never really had a lot of help. Pacioretty has had Galchenyuk. He's had some times where he's played with some good players, better players than Skinner has. I just feel like Skinner would be a better fit in Chicago, especially with Jonathan Toews. You can't play Kane with Skinner, though, I don't think. And even though Kane's more of does have a playmaking style, Kane is definitely more of a sniper, in my opinion. He likes to bury that puck and be all fancy. I think it makes sense for Toews to be able to play with Skinner than Kane would play with Saad on the other side and be able to play with producer Ghost is in my ear because he knows I'm kind of thinking about it. It's Artem Anisimov, who obviously had some time with Panarin. Then I really think Saad and Toews play very well together, but I think that maybe putting Saad with Kane and putting Anisimov between them and keeping Toews with Skinner. Toews can give the puck in his two-way style with Skinner. I think that's just a better fit overall. Pacioretty is a guy who can score too, though. Escariolo is definitely a guy who can put the puck in the net, but I'm leaning towards Skinner, and I think Pacioretty, I don't know. It's going to be a very tough sell for Montreal to move him in comparison to Jeff Skinner. But they're going to be the same value, believe it or not. Some more NHL points I want to get to before we jump into some MLB talk and golf talk. We did talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs a lot here, a little bit here with Craig Hartsburg coming by, and we're gonna have a little bit of a discussion because we can't go a show without talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously. But some more NHL news. Zach Parise seems that he's going to be 100% given training camp time. They have Jamie Oleksiak resigns with the Pittsburgh Penguins for a 3-year contract. You have Anthony Mantha agrees to a 2-year contract with the Detroit Red Wings, and 44 NHL players filing for arbitration. Nikita Kucherov, something that we kind of alluded to last show on Silver Creek a little bit, coming out with fruition there, but for sure everything was confirmed, being signing a $9.5 million cap hit with the Tampa Bay Lightning. A lot of money being really spent, and Kevin Shattenkirk being ready to go with the New York Rangers. Say his injury, thinks he's going to be healed and he'll be 100% by camp as well. And Taylor Hall, who has come out and said that he's really focused on trying to bring a cup to New Jersey after winning an MVP season. He believes that New Jersey has a chance to be a big playoff contender. I still think New Jersey is a bit behind the 8 ball in terms of some teams, but I've seen surprises, especially this year with some teams that have made it. So it'd be very interesting to see if Hall's words are a little bit more put into action. Brock Besser of the Vancouver Canucks seems that he's going to be back, and he'll be back 100% after missing the final 16 games of last season with a back injury, which really jeopardized his chances of winning Rookie of the Year. As we know, who won Rookie of the Year, Matthew Barzal, who is the absolute new stud of the New York Islanders, are probably the face of that organization. Now, Verana brought the Stanley Cup home. Washington Capitals forward greets fans in Prague, and he brought the Stanley Cup to his grandmother's grave. Very neat to someone who's a big supporter in his life, with his life in hockey. So he brought the Stanley Cup to her grave and took some nice emotional pictures. That's very, very touching to see. Speaking of the Hawks, Alex DeBrincat, he is an individual who wants to have a big season in the second year. He feels like he's going to have more of a role in Chicago, and he might be a top 6 guy there. That's if they don't acquire Pacioretty or Skinner. And the Carolina Hurricanes have been saying that they feel like they're one of the better teams that have improved this offseason in terms of bringing in Hamilton, DeHaan, and adding Mrazek in goal and moving out some older pieces. I feel that, yes, they have had a pretty good offseason, but I still think they're in the direction of selling, and they need to focus on that rebuild. Keep that decor together. Besides, I feel like moving Justin Fulk might be a good move if they can add some more prospects. They're having a very active offseason, that is for sure. And lastly, going back to the New Jersey Devils, little thumbs up here from me to the New Jersey Devils. For the Devils prospects, assemble bikes for children in the Children's Hospital. The individuals at the New Jersey development camp, New Jersey players developing and making bikes for kids in the hospital. Very good thumbs up there. Little kudos for them there. Now, Justin, we're going to talk a little bit of Toronto here before we go to the MLB and golf. Producer Ghost says we're already over our time, so he says we got to start to get toward the conclusion of the show, so we'll start doing so. This Maple Leafs in general, we saw today, actually the last couple days, I believe it was yesterday, actually was the official day it was released on social media, but the full picture of John Tavares in a Leaf uniform. Obviously a couple days ago there was a video of him on the ice with Austin Matthews, but it's kind of weird because we didn't see Austin Matthews and Tavares beside each other. Those videos separately. But you got to imagine they were probably on the ice together. I imagine they wouldn't be joking us with that. But John Tavares is definitely looking good and fitting in good with the blue and white right now.
just seems like a natural fit. I mean, his old jersey also had blue and white, but it had that hideous garbage Long Island orange in it that had hints of the guy in the boat on the front of the jersey.
The guy on the boat.
Oh, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
back in the 90s. Yeah.
Maris Tchaikovsky jersey.
Yeah, but no, it looks good. It's exciting. I mean, I'm getting the itch already going into hockey season, and we've still got NFL preseason and like 4 weeks of NFL to get into before hockey preseason even starts.
Yeah, that's first, eh?
Yeah, not that I'm counting, but 8 Sundays until the regular season.
Wow, and who's counting?
Not that I'm counting.
Yeah, not
back to Johnny T there. It's looking good. And I like that there's, no one's trying to superimpose a C or an A or anything on the jersey so far. It's just him and the Leafs jersey. Practice jersey looked okay too.
Yeah, it was good.
Bad.
They have a decent practice jersey.
Yeah, they
actually.
have one of the better looking practice jerseys in the league, I'd say.
Yeah.
No, it's exciting. And obviously Toronto's getting the jersey sales machine up.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for T-shirts to launch. I don't think T-shirts have launched yet.
No, you're probably not going to see anything until the fall, until they have a lineup of who's who on the team.
Yeah, good point. I think Johnny T-shirts are going to sell to the roof. I think it'd be... Sorry, Austin. I think he might finish second this year to it. Maybe not. Actually, I don't know. It'll be very tight. It'll be very tight. And interesting for sure. But I just wanted to get that piece of Leaf news out there that he's been on the ice and he's had some reaction. And he's also was asked, a lot of people in Toronto media was asked whom he's still going to be playing with. And even John Tavares was asked that question, and it was interesting when Johnny said that I'll play wherever Coach Babs puts me. And he'll probably fit either way, whoever he plays with. But one thing I liked that I want to point out, Nazem Kadri today on social media, and you can get this on the NHL said it, Spit and Chicklets said it, the Maple Leafs had it on their Instagram, asking Nazem Kadri how he feels about being a third-line center. I don't know if everybody realizes, I don't know why that question was asked, because he already did that role last year. But Babcock has said that he doesn't really classify lines, but if you had to give Kadri that, yes, it would be that third-line center role. But Kadri put it in a good way that, you have Johnny T and Austin Matthews that are going to be attracting those other bigger top guys. Kadri won't be attracting those guys anymore. Last year he did. He attracted more of that talent more than Bozak did, even though Marner played with Bozak a lot before he went down with Kadri. But Kadri was putting up good numbers last year in the role that he was doing. He's the perfect fit for that role. What's going to happen? Whether they're gonna track Matthews and they're gonna track Tavares right now, and then just gonna leave Kadri wide open. It's gonna give him even more opportunity than last year to put the puck in the net. And Kadri's gonna flourish wherever Babcock puts him. It seems to work, and because of Babcock, Kadri's career has turned around. So I think Kadri sees that, and I loved his response to that very stupid question, I might add. I know I've asked some doozies in my day, but I feel like, how do you feel about being a third line center? What, for the third year? It's not that he's a third-line center. It's that his role as a two-way center is being utilized in a third-line fashion, but he's putting up numbers better than any third-line center, quote-unquote, in the National Hockey League. But moving on from the Toronto Maple Leafs and the NHL as a whole, as now we are at the 23-minute mark of this part 3, so I'm getting told to try to wrap this up as quickly as I can. So, Justin, I'm going to spearhead when it comes to a little bit of Major League Baseball and some golf news before we close tonight's show. Manny Machado rumors are going through the roof, with the New York Yankees being apparently the front runners with apparently a massive trade to bring in Manny Machado. And if that is the case, I don't know. They would just be absolutely stacked with Judge, Sanchez, and Stanton being there. If they had Machado, you may as well give them the ring now, even over the Astros. I know the Dodgers, are in conversation. People classify as contenders: the Brewers, Phillies, and D-backs. Let's get real here. Phillies have already stated that they're out of the sweepstakes. Even the D-backs would be a long shot. I have picked the Brewers as being the team that's going to get Machado because of what they're able to give to the Orioles. Is going to be a better fit for Baltimore. Why the Baltimore would trade him to the Yankees, and why the Yankees would even trade for him in general, because I don't think they're going to be able why they would trade for him even though they want to win a World Series. They have all these guys that are going to be able to come back next year anyways. They could probably sign Machado in the offseason or give it a run. They'd have to give up a lot for Machado. I don't feel like the Yankees have that to be able to give up, but maybe they do. If they don't, then that's fine. They have Clint Frazier and Justice Sheffield. Those are the top prospects in the field that apparently the Orioles are asking for the Yankees. There's some steep prospects. But the number one prospect that they're asking from the Brewers right now is Keston Herrera. They don't want to include them, the Brewers, but again, every team doesn't want to include their top prospect. But you know what? You might have to, and it seems like the Yankees are front runners, but definitely don't count out those Brewers and the Dodgers, but definitely count out the Phillies or D-backs. I don't think you can say that they're going there. Zach Britton, one of the best closers in the game, apparently on the trade block as well. Again, the Yankees are interested in that, as well as the Cleveland Indians. I think Cleveland is a great fit for him there. I know Allen's been their closer, but thinking of what Cleveland can supply with having Miller, Allen, and Britton, they'd have a lethal bullpen that can contend with the Yankees when it gets down to playoff time. And don't count out the Houston Astros as well, already having a top bullpen. They want to repeat, and obviously the Dodgers are going to be in on Zach Britton as well, along with Wheeler from the Mets. So definitely going to be a very interesting trade deadline coming on up as the All-Star break approaches, with J.A. Happ getting All-Star nods for the Blue Jays. My thumbs up there to J.A. Happ having a great year. Stroman getting a big win and having a .333 average with the Atlanta when he plays there as a pitcher. It's pretty amazing and a fun stat. Josh Donaldson trying to rehab. The Jays are having a hard time with Josh Donaldson right now. It seems like his trade value is just out the window right now. Don't know what you're going to get for him. But it makes me think that if the Yankees or if the Brewers do not get Manny Machado, I know the Cardinals are in on Donaldson. Are they going to go down that route to maybe get Josh Donaldson from the Blue Jays? It makes it seem, I know people are wondering why they'd go after third base from the Brewers. They can make adjustments with that infield accordingly and put Josh Donaldson over at third. Believe it or not, Josh has also played some time at short with the Jays. Now, even though with his shoulder being injured, maybe that'd be a question. But, hey, don't count out when it comes to the Brewers. They want to buy and they want to win right now. They have a very good team to do so, as obviously do the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, and Indians, along with those Astros. Astros are still my favorite to come out as a team on top in the end. They have such a good, young, powerful team. They're going to be the dynasty, I think, going forward. But the AL West is going to be a very big, let's say, active kind of trade front in terms of the Angels and Astros, but the AL East is going to be the team that's going to be attractive to teams as the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays and even the Tampa Bay Rays are going to be looking at. But a lot of people are going to be looking at bullpen, which is something Toronto can't offer because they don't have good arms in the bullpen unless they want to move Osuna, which I can't see happening now as per Ross Atkins' moves. The only thing Toronto can really move is Josh Donaldson. They could potentially move starting pitcher J.A. Happ and Marco Estrada as well. I feel like that's the only moves Toronto can really make to try to get some prospects for those guys. But definitely, I think the most active team in this trade deadline is going to be the New York Yankees, as they always are. And like I said, if they get Machado, my God. I hope that does not happen. Moving on from the MLB, going into the golf side of news. We're going to talk about golf a bit more here on the Silver Creek edition. Pulling up the leaderboard with the John Deere Classic that is started here today and goes Sunday, July 15th. It's in Sylvanus, Illinois. Steve Wheatcraft, he has golf today a -9 or 9 under. Sorry, -9. Wow, I apologize, a -9. I'm thinking hockey, so in my mind it is a 9 under. He had a very good day on the course. Michael Kim going 8 under, and then there was three-way tie between Johnson Wagner, Nick Taylor, and Andreas Romero, being guys, or Romero, sorry, producer goes to tell me, with a 7 under. You look at some of the guys, there's a lot of ties between 3 as well, with Wee Kim and Joel Dahman being at 7 under, Scott Brown and Francisco Molinieri, I can pronounce an Italian name, I guess, being 6 under. And then a big tie for Patrick Rogers, Kelly Craft, Tyler Duncan, Patrick McCulligan, Corey Connors, Fabian Gomez, Chad Campbell, Matt Adkins, Nick Hardy, John Merrick, Chris Clark, David Hearn, Stuart Appleby, Sam Ryder, Lando Griffin, Danny McCarthy, all being tied for 10th, and that's at 5 under. So it's a very tight race right now, as you can see with all those ties I just mentioned. And I did not butcher one last name there. I just got a little clap in the background from Justin of sorts, and also the producer Ghost on that one. You don't have some of the big names that are up there in terms of the leaderboard, but it's definitely been an exciting golf time apparently at John Deere Classic. And golf in general, we're going to be covering here on the Silver Creek edition of the Game Sports Show. It's going to be mostly spearheaded from Jamie Henderson and the Silver Creek Golf Course and some city tournaments. We do have some city tournaments coming around. Root River Golf Course does have a one that Craig was promoting. I would state that next weekend there between Big Brother, Big Sister. They're having a partnership there with that to have a show, a tournament at Root River. They're looking for some teams. If you're a professional or not professional, go out and enjoy some good time on golf. There's the city championships that are being held here at Silver Creek Golf Course. Looking here at Jamie Henderson's Facebook page, make sure I get the right recap handle so I don't have the memorization that I should have. And producer Ghost doesn't have all the memorization sometimes, as he just has access with everything because he has to keep myself, Justin, and Brad in line, and sometimes Dane when he's here. This 2018 Sault Ste. Marie City Championships, which will run July 27th, 28th, and 29th. Entries are coming on in. The 27th of 18 holes at Sioux Golf Club. The 28th of July will be 18 holes at Silver Creek, and July 29th being 18 holes at Crimson Ridge. The entry fee is $125 for a member. A non-member is $175. You get out and you get to join the Sioux City Championship. It is, a great term. You get all the very competitive Sault Ste. Marie golf individuals out there. I know Dustin Gronin will probably be a part of that, whom is a part of the Game Sports Show on the Wednesday edition at Sports Center Bar and Grill. And the City Championships is definitely something to enjoy. It's 3 days long, as I mentioned, 18 holes at 3 different golf courses, and beautiful golf courses as well. Get a hold of Jamie Henderson on Facebook. It is the 6th annual of this. Now, I will say that when you sign up for this, it includes 3 rounds, obviously 3 rounds, as I mentioned, range balls, prizes, and dinner following the final round of Crimson Ridge. Flights will be determined after 36 holes of play. You can contact Jamie for more information to register. That's at 705-942-2080, extension 202, or email Jamie at golfsilvercreek.com. Wow, I'm going to repeat that. Email Jamie at golfsilvercreek.com. 3rd time's a charm. Registration deadline is by Monday, July 23rd, 2018, by 12 noon. You have to get in as well. Members at one of the 3 golf courses will receive a preferred pricing. So if you're at one of the 3 golf courses, the member, you could count as a member. There's many sponsors that are involved in the show for the tournament rather, and there's, like I said, Sault Ste. Marie Golf Club, Silver Creek, and Crimson Ridge, 3 great golf courses where you can golf 18 holes and show off your skills for golf. So make sure you sign up for that and get a hold of Jamie Henderson through Facebook or through telephone 942-2080, extension 202, or email Jamie at golfsilvercreek.com. So that's a little bit of the golf taste that we can give here on the Game Sports Show today. Hopefully next week we can have Jamie Henderson here live, where we can discuss that part of golf and get him even a bit more into the professional side of golf, as we're very intrigued to have that part of our show here on the Game Sports Show for the special summer edition here at Silver Creek Golf Course. Justin, I'm going to repeat the trivia question. The question is, which again, John Dean, the new coach of Soo Greyhound Greyhounds, if you can give us the record that he had this year with his Toronto Patriots in 2017-2018 year, you send in your answer to the Game Sports Show @gmail.com. You have a chance to win a free round of golf, courtesy of Silver Creek Golf Course. I want to give a shout out to the staff here at Silver Creek Golf Course. Great as always. To Paul as well, who's covering in for Jamie Henderson. He always does a great job here, and I hear good things about Silver Creek Golf Course always. And we're here outside on the patio, and it was a great turnout here on the patio. A nice night as the summer goes along. We're going to be moving around the patio and into the events area with the guests that we have on the show. So very excited about that. Once again, happy birthday to Scott Nason, whom is not our board operator tonight. Producer Ghost took over that role as he did producer work and board op work today. Definitely have producer Ghost with his hands full on the other end of the microphone. Once again, Jerry Patingolo's Stag, September the 20th. You can log into my Facebook and see the event that I shared, and you can contact me for tickets, as they're only $30 a tickets at Grand Gardens North. So make sure you get out to enjoy that. Justin, I'm going to say goodbye to you, my friend, and I will see you Sunday at Boston Pizza.
I'll be there, maybe with bells on.
With bells on, and that'll be at 9:30. So we'll be at 9:30 at the very latest. We'll start our recording time on Sunday at Boston Pizza. Be myself, Brad, and Justin, with hopeful guests on locations. If not, next week we already have a live pack of local guests coming on, so be very exciting. Going into next week, we do have a show Monday at the Wicked Sister. We are off next Wednesday from Sports Center. We are at Boston Pizza next Thursday, and we're at Silver Creek here on Sunday, and I will repeat that agenda to you on Sunday, which is this upcoming Sunday, July the 15th at Boston Pizza. Shout out to our sponsors: Silver Creek Golf Course, Boston Pizza, Sports Center Bar and Grill, Northern Quitters in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, The Salon, The Superior Pro Shop, Discover, The Canvas, Northern Signs, and KBX Hockey, along with the Wicked Sister and with Pingator Cleaners and Eagle 95.1. Make sure you check out our website, www.thegamesportshow.com. Follow us on thegamesportshow.podbean.com, and also look at our merchandise where you can purchase for $25 with proceeds going towards Northern Careers in Need and Big Brother Big Sister. You just email the Game Sports Show SSM stating the amount of size you need, and also the amount of shirts that you require as well. Free delivery upon location in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan and Ontario area. Shipping charges will apply if you live outside those areas, but definitely still go towards a great cause, as we will make it worth your while paying that shipping costs, donating that sort of shipping costs towards the charities, Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother Big Sister. So we're at the 35-minute mark here on part 3, which means we went 20 minutes over. And with Producer Ghost in my ear, whom I said a lot here on the show, I have to say thank you to that individual, Producer Ghost. Can't say him or her, because that person, he or she, is a secret that we might announce one day further, much further down the road. He did tell me that, you know what, you went above time, you may as well keep going, as he likes to hear us talk, and we had lots to talk about here on the Silver Creek edition of the Game Sports Show. Thanks to Craig Hartsburg for coming on by here today. We look forward to having him on more. And once again, thanks for Justin Heichel, as always, being here. And to you, the listeners, for being loyal and faithful listeners, as always, day in and day out on recordings of the Game Sports Show. Now, get into the conclusions part of the show. Keep your stick on the ice. Swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.